Hi, this is Anna Young, and this is Diary of a Young Girl coming to you from my bed. I'm still sick, just got out of the hospital, and I'm recovering and trying to get better here so I can get my butt in gear and get ready to move. They do have me on some new medications that are helping, but it still can't get the heart rate up, but we'll see. Anyway, I said I would talk about age 6, so I'm going to continue with age 6. If you recall my previous video, I had talked about being sexually abused at age 6 by my mom and stepdad. My stepdad breaking my finger at the age of 6, how my mom threatened me about lying at the hospital, and also about the first time Keith hit me with the side piece of a game of Connect 4. That was just the start of it all. The other things I remember at age 6 was my mom and stepdad getting into an argument, and I was standing in the doorway of my bedroom, and I watched Keith lift my mom up by the throat, lift her up off her feet against the wall, and I saw her eyes look over to me, and Keith saw her eyes look over to me, and he looked over to me and saw me standing there watching everything, so he let her go, and he put her down. And that's the only time that I have seen him lay her hands on her. It seems it was more appropriate to lay his hands on me than her, which, whatever, I'm fine. I'm glad he didn't hurt her. But another memory I have of age 6 was, I don't know, my parents did or said something to me that was really unfair and wrong, and I was upset about it, and I had to get in the shower, and I was in the shower showering, and I was bitching about them. I was like in there thinking I'm by myself, naked, showering, and I'm like, they think this and they think that and blah, 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 blah. And well, to my surprise, Keith ripped open the bathroom curtain and started beating me naked in the shower. And afterward, what really stood out to me about it was how proud my mom and Keith seemed to be about it. Like, they shut me up from talking bad about them, and they felt like I got what I deserved. I got hit once for bringing in groceries. Remember, that's how my finger got broke. Well, I started bringing groceries after that, and I dropped a jar of jelly on the floor and it broke, and I got beat for that because that was a waste of money. I just got beat for freaking everything. Even if Keith was having a bad day, I got beat. So that was age 6, and what I need to explain is I do have 2 older brothers, but they grew up with their biological father, while I grew up with my mom and my stepdad. I don't know who my real father is to this day. Now, I grew up believing that William James Young was my father. He acted like my father. He treated me like I was his daughter, and I loved him very much. He was a great, great man. And in my heart, he'll always be my father to me. But as far as getting the truth out of my mother about who my father is like nearly impossible. The only reason I know that I don't know who my father is because I found her diary when I was 17. And it said in her diary that if I was born after March, then I belonged to some guy named Bob. And I was born in April, so apparently I belong to some guy named Bob. I don't know. I plan to take a DNA test sometime in the future. I've procrastinated, but I could have a whole other family out there that I'm just not aware of. But age 6 is also when my parents started making me do the dishes. Now, I kind of wanted to do them at age 6. It made me feel important or whatever. Curious to do the dishes. The problem was, once I started doing the dishes, I never stopped. I was in charge of doing the dishes morning, noon, and night. And I didn't do a very good job because I was only 6 years old. So sometimes the dishes came out a little soapy. Sometimes I didn't get all the spots off of the dishes. And this angered my parents terribly, and there's more to the story, but it comes at a later age. I'll get into that later. Anyway, those are my memories from age 6. There's so much more. And I remember this stuff because it was traumatic to me. It's like seared in my brain. And these memories come to me out of the blue with no notice, no warning whatsoever. And I've had to learn to cope and deal with them and dismiss them and distract myself and do a whole number of things to try not to let them affect me emotionally. But I do want to say that there's a famous quote by Edmund Burke that says that the only thing necessary for evil to exist is for good people to do nothing. And I think it's really important that we speak up about our abuse as long as we're safe to do so. Because when we stay silent, then we give them the power. They want us to stay silent. They don't want everybody to know how they treated us. And that keeps some form of control over us. I know just by starting out on TikTok, I started, 2 weeks ago? And I got that really nasty post from my abusers, which was reported and they were addressed with. But see, they don't want me to talk. They want nothing more than me to shut up and go away. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give them that satisfaction. I'm going to tell my story. And I'm going to try to do it every day. It's really hard, but I'm trying. So there's a lot more to talk about, but I don't want my videos to be too long. So I just want to say, when we speak up, we take our voices back, and we deserve to be heard, and people deserve to know about them. We can protect others from getting hurt by speaking up about them and against them and about what they did to us. So I encourage you to stand up and speak about your abuse. I've set up a support group I've told you about. You could talk about it there. Also, it's very therapeutic, very, very therapeutic, because I know with me, I held it in my whole life. I tried to tell people here and there a little bit this, a little bit that. I did confide into teachers. I didn't go into detail about what was going on at home, but I did tell them I was being abused, and they did nothing. But as I grew older in my life, I found that keeping all that abuse in was just making me sick and unhealthy. And it manifested itself physically with health problems and chronic health conditions. And it wasn't until I started talking about it that I started to get better and to heal and move on. But now it's been brought up all back into light again. And so it's time I tell my story. So stay tuned to Diary of a Young Girl. This is the only diary like it in the world. And share my videos if you can, because I want my voice to be heard. That's all I'm asking for, is I want my voice to be heard. Anyway, today's Sunday. We got a week ahead of us. I hope your week's off to a good start tomorrow. You have a good Monday. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night. Thanks. Bye.